Hello, and welcome to another episode of Health Coach Impact. My name is Michelle Landry. I'm your host, and Health Coach Impact is the show where we feature multiple different types of health coaches in different fields, all different niches, different backgrounds, and we want to bring the industry of health coaching to the forefront and how different each of us individual health coaches, how we take care of our clients, how we bring health coaching in our own way and in our own manner. And today's guest is a dear friend of mine. We actually were working on a different project years ago, and I'm so excited to bring her to you. Her name is Michelle Vina-Baltsas, and she is, I got your name right. It's been years. And, but, you know, we worked together on another project back in 2013, 2014.
Yeah.
That. And that was so much fun. And I wanted to bring her on this show to be able to share exactly what you do, Michelle, because your gift and your message to the world is so needed. And I love what type of health coaching you do and how you do it. So with that, I want you to be able to talk to us a little bit about what it is that you do, who you are, where you're from. Just going to kind of roll with it here.
Okay. Well, first, thanks, Michelle, for inviting me on your show. It is really fun to reconnect, and we've been friends for a long time. It's hard to believe it's been since 2013, 14. And here we are almost, creeping up on 2020. Yikes.
Crazy.
We haven't aged at all.
Nope, we haven't.
And the industry is still as relevant today, if not more so than it was back then.
Yes.
I still love what I do, and I love any opportunity I have to speak about my work.
Right. So, Michelle, go back to when you very first thought about health and wellness, and what was that story that really, really dove deep inside of you and changed your whole outlook to life?
Well, I really feel that I was interested in health and wellness from a very young age because I was always on a diet. So, literally I think 7, 8, 9 years old, like very young age. I was always unhappy with my body, and I always wanted it to be smaller. So I thought that was wellness, back then. And I carried that belief system all the way through my adolescence, into college, post-college, and literally into my 40s. So to me, wellness was equated with being thin. And so that got flipped completely when I started studying, partially when I started studying health coaching, but really further into that, once I graduated from IIN, I started to do more reading about, because my passion has always been managing my difficulties with eating. And in terms of emotional eating, binge eating, I did have an eating disorder as a child, into, again, 20s and 30s. And so I wanted to understand more about that. And so after I graduated, I started to really dig deep into that niche area, because I know that so many people, specifically women, really struggle in this particular area. And I discovered this amazing philosophy called intuitive eating. And at first I was like, there's no way that this could work, because they don't know how much food I can eat, like what I can consume. And the more research I did, I really dug my heels into this, and the research was there that it was really what was my primary issue with food was deprivation, and the consistent dieting, yo-yo dieting that I had done literally for decades. And so I wanted off of that roller coaster, and so the more I studied and the more I started to practice these, they're literally principles and just the whole philosophy of my life, my relationship with food began to transform. And I no longer was obsessed with food. I was no longer having the same types of difficulties that I had been having for so many years. And so my whole focus shift from focusing only on weight and using that to measure my health to the mindset piece of it and having a literal relationship with food that was no longer challenged. And for me, it was a miracle because I never knew what it was like to have a healthy relationship with food. It was always, I can't eat that. I can't eat that because if I eat that, I'm going to, this is going to happen. And now it's just like, the relationship is so easy and it's relaxed and it's peaceful and it's a dream. It really is. It took a lot of years to get here, but it's okay because I'm glad I arrived, you know?
Right, exactly. And that is a skill that you have developed over the years because of the experiences that you had. Now, going into being a health coach, it's very
Hmm.
different when we're just dealing with ourselves and how we address things and such. Is being a health coach, how do you draw that out of your clients and really dig deep and get down to that?
Well, part of it's marketing, part of it's finding people that are interested in this type of work because this is very different than what I'm going to say a lot, whatever number that is, whatever percentage it is of health coaches. Some don't even believe in this philosophy. They believe that weight is equated to health, and I no longer believe that and haven't for a long time. So it's different in that sense, in that how do I get others, I market myself in a way that is very, very clear that weight loss is, if you're looking for weight loss, I'm not the right coach for you. Because my approach is completely weight neutral, what we call weight neutral, in that you may lose, you may gain, you may stay the same. That is not the focal point of our work together. The focal point is to improve your relationship with food and with your body and let the weight fall wherever it falls, and also not even to be focused on weight. And that, I know that that sounds impossible, and nothing is impossible, but my point is that the focus is not so much on that. People can still have a healthy relationship with food and still wish that they were thinner. That's called being human, because our culture is so conditioned to believing that weight equals health. And also, let's face it, the world is not very kind to people in larger bodies. And what I've learned over these years since we last talked, um, is that they're even more unkind to people that are in larger bodies and getting older. So, I'm in a phase of my life now, being a woman who is, in menopause. Actually, I'm postmenopausal. I'm 53, and it gets even trickier because once you go through that phase of life, which is we all women will go through at different ages, there's even more of that mentality of you've let yourself go, all of that shaming around a woman's body, when really a woman at that stage of life, it's very normal to gain weight at that stage of life. It's a natural occurrence. And yet everyone is trying to diet themselves down to what they were when they were 20 or 30. And it's really not realistic. And in many cases, it's not, in my opinion, in a huge majority of the cases, it's unsuccessful, which is what all the research shows, and certainly what my experience was and my clients' experiences. But it also has led to women in later in life turning to eating disorders or being diagnosed with eating disorders because they're so disenchanted with the changes that have happened in their body, which again is a natural occurrence. They are turning to not eating and going into the anorexic phase and or bulimia or all types of very self-destructive behaviors in order to get sort of turn back the clock because they don't like what's happening with their body. So for me, the whole weight neutral approach is really healthier on mind, body, spirit, emotional, everything. um, because you're like on a treadmill all the time, and you're never going to catch that magical number and be able to maintain that. And the key for my work is sustainability. What's sustainable? What can you do in terms of self-care and in terms of developing or tweaking existing habits, recognize the negative ones, and then create new ones that are going to help you improve your relationship with food, with your body, and just in life in general, and then put that weight on the back burner, focus on the self-care. And what happens in a huge majority of the cases is metabolic health straightens itself out naturally, just based on the self-care, not on the number on the scale, but on the self-care. How are you adding gentle movement? Are you eating your vegetables and getting adequate water and eating meals that are colorful and nutritious, but not like forcing yourself to do things, because that's not sustainable. So I'm about sustainability, about self-care, about caring for your body in that way. But again, all from a weight neutral point of view.
I love everything that you've just said, because
me too. Thank you.
Because I know for myself, I've been living that these last few years. I had major lung surgery a few years ago, and it changed my entire body. It changed everything about me. And I'm almost 50. I'll be 50 next year. And I can see all the things that you just laid it right out. And what I love about how you are presenting this and what your message is, it's also talking to the health coach, because both you and I have been health coaches for a long time. And as a health coach, we can get stuck in this image that what a health coach is supposed to be looking like and what a health coach is supposed to be. And then it holds us back from doing what we love and actually helping those other clients that we know that we can help, because we're stuck in our own image. We're stuck with, but a health coach isn't supposed to look like this right now.
That's right.
We're supposed to be the standard, but what really is the standard?
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
And Health Coach Impact, one of the things I really wanted to bring out is, as a health coach, you have the knowledge. You have all of the tools necessary to help your audience. Whatever that audience is, it doesn't matter what you look like. You have the knowledge, you have the resources that people want, and they're going to connect with you.
Right.
And I love how you just cut through all of the stigma that us as health coaches can carry.
I'm all about destigmatization. That's my middle name. That and compassion are my two big things. I talk about mental health issues. I talk about menopause. I talk about the fact that I've allowed my hair to grow into its natural color, because I feel that there are so many stigmas around again, I get that it's men and women, but specifically around women, what people are very unkind, especially to the aging woman. Oh, well, again, the whole let yourself go thing, which is just, to me, a way of saying you look like crap, color your hair, lose some weight. It's these unrealistic expectations of what women are supposed to look like. And I agree with you 100% what a health coach is supposed to look like. And I have had people recently say to me, like in the past, I would say year and a half, say to me, I want to work with you because you look more like me. Because even though I wear straight size clothing, I'm not a single digit size person. I'm not 25, and they know that I'm a mom. My son just went off to college, so people are relating to me on a very different level. And in the circles that I travel, I work with a lot of dietitians and therapists, because a lot of the people I work with have eating disorders and very serious disordered eating, which is caused by this culture. and this culture of perfectionism that is not attainable, you know? And they're like, I want to work with you because a lot of the dietitians, again, in my niche are young, like early 30s, white, long, straight hair, you know, nothing wrong with that, but they're looking for someone that looks a little different, you know, who really can relate to them more. And so they're like, I want to come to you because you are more in my age bracket and you understand especially the changes that they're going through hormonally. And, you know, if you haven't gone through that, it's not to say that you wouldn't be effective, but they want, again, someone that has been through it and they're like, she gets it, you know, she's not a size whatever, you know, I'm not in a larger body, but I'm not in a tiny body, you know? So people need to have someone that gets them, you know, and I feel very similarly. So it kind of has worked well for me, you know, just being who I am. You know, that's always the best person to be is who you are, right? So I think the whole thing with health coaching is that people feel they, like you said, they need to look a certain way, they need to eat a certain way, they need to exercise a certain way. And that whole thing, all that rigidity and all those rules are exactly what my work is not about. I'm all about going inward. What does your body need? Because we're all unique. We all need different things. And then knowing that and respecting it to the best of our ability. And that's what my work is all about, is intuitiveness. And it's not just intuitive eating, it's intuitive movement, it's intuitive living. How are we listening to our body? Because when we're listening to all that noise outside, we're not getting what we need. It's what everybody else wants for us. And they're all like putting us all like into one big lump of, well, this is the standard. It's like, yeah, but what if that doesn't work for you? Well, that's not, you know, then you're not going to be X number of pounds. And I'm like, okay, then I'm not, but I want to be happy.
Right.
I want to be satisfied. I want to be healthy on my terms.
Exactly.
Not on your terms, on my terms.
Exactly.
Big difference. Yeah.
It is a big difference. I mean, it really doesn't matter what age you're in. If you're going through a different health crisis or you're going through something that's causing, you know, your body to change in a certain way, it's a matter of finding out what that change is and how to nourish your body in the way that it is meant to be nourished, and working with that. It's so much, you know, you go onto Instagram or on a Facebook or, you know, all these different, you know, Pinterest or wherever it is, right? That you see all these images, you see all of these, what things are supposed to look like or what you're supposed to be eating, just like you just said, right? And as health coaches, I talk to a lot of health coaches every day. And a lot of people are like, well, I'm, you know, I don't look like that, or I'm not eating this way, or, you know, I got to get this all in line before I can do this, or I got to get this perfect program put together before I can step out and do my work. Oh my goodness.
It's exhausting. It's exhausting.
It is. It is.
Because you know what? You're never going to get there. Because, you know, when you get there, they're going to move the line. So, you know, there's no such thing as that perfectionism, you know, and you know what? Even if you arrive, that your life changes, things change, you change, you know, and we're supposed to keep evolving. We're not supposed to be like set in stone. We have blood, we breathe, you know, things shift. And I also think that with that, Michelle, that there's a lot of shame and the whole not enough thing of, well, I'm not thin enough, I'm not a good enough coach, my program isn't good enough. There's a lot of not good enoughs, which is just basically shame on top of shame on top of shame. And that keeps people stuck, like you're saying. And then, you know what happens? The people that need you aren't getting you. And that's the real tragedy here, aside from the fact, obviously, shame is a horrible thing, but that the people that need you don't have access to you because you're in your own way.
Right.
You're in your own way. And it's hard. I mean, please, I have a lot of my own stuff with not enoughness, and I have to work on that daily. But I keep reminding myself that my gifts are needed. People need my services. And it's time for people to stop saying, when I lose X number of pounds, then I'll take off, or then I'll put on a bathing suit. And I'm like,
Right.
put on a bathing suit now. Your life
Right.
is passing you by, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But it's very sad to me that, and I know, and I lived it for a long time, that people are literally, their lives are passing them by because they don't think that they're enough of anything.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you know, it's sad. So, you know, and that's someone's choice. I can't tell them how to live. But when they're ready to say,
Mm-hmm.
I want to stop this, I
Mm-hmm.
just want to live my life the way I am, it's like, hallelujah.
Right. Exactly. And that's
Let's
when you
get
start,
started.
yeah, that's when you start attracting all of those
Right.
things that you were repelling from you that you
Right.
really wanted. That's when
Yeah.
the floodgates start to come in.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And it's a
So,
beautiful thing.
uh-huh, yeah, exactly. So you
Mm-hmm.
mentioned that you work with dietitians and nutritionists and things like that,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Different
Yeah.
professionals.
Yeah.
How do you attract those people to you? How is it that you are able to attract those people to you?
A lot of Facebook work, and also a lot of, like, you know, putting myself out there locally and
Mm-hmm.
talking with therapists. And therapists are so gifted in what they do too, but they are not easy to pin down because they have back-to-back clients. You know, talk about burnout. You know, they're
Mm-hmm.
around in my area, their services are so needed, it's really, really difficult. But I still manage to have, like, fit in a coffee date with them just to chat. And again, my niche is very small, so I really have to make it clear that my work is not based on weight loss. So the
Mm-hmm.
few people that I have found to be, were like sisters, and it's because it is a different language than what most people are used to.
Mm-hmm.
So I get referrals from therapists and from registered dietitians. Sometimes in those cases, it's mostly for eating disorder meal support. So helping
Oh,
someone when
okay.
they come out of, like,
Mm-hmm.
you know, eating disorder hospitals, and really just trying to work with them as they transition back into their lives.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of Facebook stuff, you know, and then, like I said, a lot of local networking, which again is not easy, but it's possible.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. I
Exactly.
also belong to a professional membership group where we have monthly trainings specifically for eating disorders and disordered eating.
Mm-hmm.
So I meet people there also.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. Those are so many. I mean, you have so many gold nuggets in just the
Mm.
short time that we have been able to, talk and such. And I absolutely love how you're putting yourself out there. You are accepting yourself, who you are, and you know that you have a voice, and that is what's important. And your message is one that people, especially in today's society, they're seeking and they're searching for, because you're right. There's this huge stigma as to what we're supposed to look like, what we're supposed to do, what we're supposed to eat, who we're supposed to be, what this image is. And God didn't make us that way. He made a variety of everything. Just look outside. There's a variety
Right.
of everything.
That is right. That's
Yeah.
right. And the more we can, and you know, the buzzwords now, and it's about time, are be inclusive, you know, come as you are. These are the things that you're hearing more and more. And Lord knows, if people really embrace that, the world would be in a much better place, you know,
Mm-hmm.
because that's really what it's all about. And that, as far as I'm concerned, that transfers beautifully to size diversity. We're not all supposed to be the same size. We're just
Mm-hmm.
not. And
Yeah.
the more people understand that and educate themselves about the realities of this,
Mm-hmm.
I think the healthier people are going to be in every way,
Mm-hmm.
emotionally, physically, spiritually. They will reach a very different, they will have a very different experience in life when they understand that we're not all supposed to look the same. And even
Mm-hmm.
though the culture wants us to believe that, it's really not true. We have to look at where that's coming from, because by them telling us that, we'll buy something from them. So
This is
they're
true.
constantly telling us that we're not enough, we're not enough. So the more they tell us that, the more we're going to buy, whether it's anti-aging creams, whether it's another diet, whether it's a special drink. All of that is basically saying the way you are is not acceptable in our society. So here, if you buy this, you'll get closer to that, right? So I'm like, what about if you like yourself the way you are? You know, what if you're good with the way you are? Well, you know, I'm not a very good customer, so I was for decades, and I no longer buy into that culture, those cultural beliefs, and I pretty much swim upstream because most people think I'm crazy, and that's okay. I'm okay with that, because I like being this way. I'm much happier and I'm much healthier. That's the key, is that's one of the major keys. I'm much healthier. My metabolic health, thank God, is fantastic. And I don't diet, and I eat pretty much whatever I want, whenever I want. And I don't have the desire to eat those types of things that people think that they would only eat if they ate the way that, if they follow this philosophy. I eat a beautifully balanced diet, and I'm very happy. I don't feel deprived at all. And you know, the demons that I used to have, you know, in terms of food and like literally being afraid of it, I can have anything in my house and it doesn't call to me. It's just like, it's just food. It's kind of fun. It's fun.
It takes that stigma away, you know.
It does. Yeah.
Right. So Michelle, how are you presenting your work? Are you doing just locally? You said you work a lot on Facebook also. So I'm gathering that you have clients that you get from social media too. So how do you do your work?
It, like you said, it's a combo. You know, I do some work locally. I do some work on Facebook. I do group work on Facebook. I do speak locally. I haven't in a while, but I have in the past. So really it's, you know, wherever somebody finds me, you know, but I am on, you know, LinkedIn and, Instagram and Facebook. So not so much on Twitter, but I am on the other, you know, platforms. And, you know, I do send out a blog, and I post things, and, you know, I just hope that people find me, and that when they do find me, that the things that I am giving out resonate with them, you know.
Right. So tell us what your website is, how people can find you on Facebook and on, you know, LinkedIn and Instagram. So what your Instagram handle is and such.
Yeah. My Instagram handle is at Michelle Vina-Baltsas _coach. I just recently, like in the past 6 months, added coach because I do work with a lot of registered dietitians. I'm not a dietitian. I'm a coach, and I'm very proud of that. So Instagram, that's, what is it? LinkedIn, it's Michelle Vina-Baltsas. And on Facebook, I have a really great group. It's called the No Diet Sisterhood. And we talk about all types of issues there. I post articles, you know, we have nice discussions. It's a safe haven from all of the other diety type stuff that's on Facebook and on social media. So that's where people can find me.
That's awesome.
Oh, and my website. Yeah, I'm sorry, Michelle. My website is my name, MichelleVina-Baltsas.com, all one word.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'll make sure that we have all of this information in the show notes. So if you, as our listening and viewing audience, are really connecting with what Michelle is saying, I really do encourage you to get in touch with her and see how she's doing her work. If you're a client or a prospective client, you know, definitely get in touch with Michelle. If you're another health coach and want to find out more of what she does, as you can see here, as health coaches, we band together and we love to network. We take our time and we will actually, you know, speak with each other, and we're very, very open. That's the way we are. We're giving. Each of us health coaches are very, very giving with all of our work. And I'm sure Michelle, just like I would, you know, it's like I'll take 10, 15 minutes to, you know, speak with a health coach and be able to be there to be supportive or, you know, encouraging or, you know, kind of lead you off into a good direction for your area and such. So, you know, I would really encourage you to get in touch with Michelle, or you can get in touch with me. I'm Michelle Landry. You can get in touch with me at healthcoachimpact@gmail.com. And if you'd like to have more information, if you're looking at being a health coach and you want to learn a little bit more about a health coaching school, both Michelle and I went to Institute for Integrative Nutrition, and somewhere on this page you will see a link where you can be able to get a free class from IIN and be able to try it out. So if that's something that's interested of you, get a hold of me, Michelle Landry, at healthcoachimpact@gmail.com. You can also see these interviews, just like this one with Michelle. You can see them on YouTube. We have our own YouTube channel, Health Coach Impact on YouTube. And we're also on Facebook at our Facebook fan page, which is Health Coach Impact. And you can also see it on LinkedIn under my personal profile, Michelle Landry. So thank you again, Michelle, for being with me today. It was so wonderful being able to reconnect with you.
Thank
And
you.
yes, absolutely. This was so much fun. And again, connect with either Michelle or myself, and we're more than open to being able to be here for you and a support
Definitely.
team.
Yeah.
So until next time, everyone, have a wonderful rest of your day, evening, wherever you're at in the world, and we'll see you again on Health Coach Impact.
Bye. Thank you again, Michelle.
You're welcome.